I'm Randy Mermel. I'm one of the on-farm educators here at Angelic Organics Learning Center. We are the non-for-profit educational part to Angelic Organics Farm, one of the largest community-supported agriculture farms in the country. One of the things we do here is we have custom programs, and I was going to teach a straw bale gardening class this year, early spring, but due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, it got canceled. So I would like to do this video to teach people on this technique that I was very successful with last year. It's called straw bale gardening. So besides growing our food traditionally on the ground, we also have raised beds. We have some pallets that we've been planting into. And last year, I started a new technique called straw bale gardening. And this is a great method, and we had some great success with it last year. Especially if you have a poor soil, or you're growing in an area where the water table is very high. What you're doing here is you're actually creating your own soil and your own growing medium. So one of the first things you need to know is the difference between hay and straw. And I always say hay is for horses, straw is for houses. But here at the farm, we use hay, which is a traditionally alfalfa that we grow on the farm that has seed heads, is green, and we feed it to our animals. Now straw bales are the stalk. So it could be barley, it could be wheat, but it's the cutting after the seed heads have been removed and utilized. So these are just basically stalks. What would happen if you used hay here? Of course, grass would grow in your bales, and you don't want that, because the really great thing about the system is that it's weed free, and that's what we're really promoting here. We don't want to have that competition from our weeds. So there's various places to source your straw bales. I know that you can get them at Lowe's. Usually they're between $4 and $8 a piece. It's good to kind of find a farmer that has some for sale, and you can buy in bulk or in a larger quantity. When you place your straw bales, you want to place them with the straw part pointing up. And I'll explain that in a minute. The straw part pointing up, you want to keep your twine intact on the side here. You can see there's typically two strings across for each bale. One more thing about placing your bales, it's a good idea to have a weed barrier down underneath your bales before you put them down, like cardboard or newspaper. That'll just help keep the weeds down around your bale. So, because the next year, this is going to be broken down and you're going to be able to plant into it as its own bed. The other thing is you want to have plenty of sunlight. So we're getting some southern exposure here for our plants. So you want to have these in a sunny location, like you would with any garden. So the book that I used and learned this technique is Straw Bale Solutions by Joel Carlston. I want to promote this book. If you want to do this technique, I would highly recommend it. It has a lot of information, a lot more information that I'm going to give you about design, companion planting, and a lot of other important things about gardening is in this book here. So it's really important that when you design your garden, that you want to place your bales where you want to grow your vegetables, right? Because we're going to inoculate them now soon. Once you inoculate them, they start to get very heavy, and you're not going to be able to move them around. So what do I mean by inoculation? So you've heard me talk about compost or even healthy soil. I talk a lot about the needs of the bacteria, because what we're doing here is we're really creating soil here, a growing medium, and we want to feed that bacteria, right? Because the bacteria is going to break this down and release those nutrients and feed our plants and make our plants nice and healthy, right? So bacteria need carbon, which is the straw bale here. This is the carbon source. This is where the bacteria is going to get its energy from. Now you also need nitrogen, which is the protein source. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna inoculate. This here is something I bought from a place online. You can also buy this at any garden store. This is called blood meal. This is very, very high in nitrogen. So this is blood meal here, and there's a chart in this book. At a glance, conditioning summary chart. It's a 12-day process to inoculate your bales prior to planting it. Right now, if you planted in these bales, nothing would happen because it's pure carbon. There's not enough bacteria, there's not enough biological activity in here to get your plants to grow. So we're going to start inoculating according to the schedule in straw bale solution. What we're doing here really is we're promoting bacterial growth in our bale that's going to break down this bale and release nutrients into the plants. So what we're going to help along there, and of course bacteria again need nitrogen. So according to the schedule here, it's a 12-day process. And on day 1, we're going to use organic fertilizer, 3 cups. And then we also want to water our bales really well because that bacteria, again, breathe oxygen like we do. They're aerobic bacteria, and they also drink water. So they're going to need water for this process. So I'm going to take my little Folgers cup. I know this is about 4 cups here, so I'm going to fill it up 3/4 of a way and start to sprinkle in here. I also have a nice little trowel, and I'm going to kind of poke it in there, kind of open this up a little bit. Now it's amazing that bacteria in 24 hours can divide from 1 bacteria to almost trillions of bacteria in 24 hours. It's a really amazing process. Now, blood meal again can be bought. I know I've seen it at Farm and Fleet, at Lowe's, Amazon has it, and you want to get nitrogen fertilizer. You don't need to get an NPK with potassium in it or phosphorus because those nutrients are going to be created in these bales, but eventually the bacteria and everything breaking down. So we just want nitrogen fertilizer. Part of the inoculation process is watering the bales. You're going to want to water your bales and saturate them every day. That bacteria in there drinks water like we do. They also are aerobic bacteria, so you don't want to get it too wet. You want to just kind of saturate it and make sure that you're getting that nitrogen material, that blood meal, down into the bale. So you're going to follow that 12-day schedule. Here we have our arbor. So one of the work projects I got to work with students over the summer last year for our overnight camps was to build this beautiful whole tree arbor out of black locust. And the idea here is we're going to plant into these bales pumpkins and squash and other viney vegetation that's going to go up over the top, and the pumpkins and gourds, and we have some watermelons are going to drop down, and then we're going to cover this whole structure with foliage. And then we're going to put a couple picnic tables in there, and it'll be a nice place to have our lunch in a shady area that is created by our plants that we grow in our straw bales. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future videos that we'll be posting when I start planting into these straw bales in about 2 weeks or so. If you have any questions, post them in the comments sections. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have regarding this method. We will also be showing you last year's straw bale that we planted some broccoli into, so we'll be posting those videos as well. And if you liked what you've seen here and you feel the urge to help us out and donate to Angelic Organics Learning Center, feel free. We appreciate that too.